Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of creating an impression of a ceasefire while still taking military actions in some places in Ukraine. Because Putin's ceasefire was announced minutes before it was due to take effect, an immediate, complete pause was always unlikely, but it has been quieter. Before Zelensky said there had been continued attacks in some areas, at midnight on Saturday there were no reported Russian drones or fighter jets in Ukrainian skies. That is very rare. The only report was that a Russian ship with missile launchers had been deployed to the Black Sea. In the southern city of Odessa, it was silent. On Friday, before Moscow's announcement, air defenses crackled throughout the night as Russian drones flew in from the direction of occupied Crimea. On Sunday morning, Zelensky said Moscow was trying to create a general impression of a ceasefire, but in some places it doesn't abandon individual attempts to advance and inflict losses on Ukraine, accusing Russia of specific military actions. Zelensky added that everywhere our warriors are responding as the enemy deserves, based on the specific combat situation. Late on Saturday, hours into the truce, Zelensky had said, if Russia is now suddenly ready to truly engage in a format of full and unconditional silence, Ukraine will act accordingly, mirroring Russia's actions. Our actions are and will be symmetrical. The proposal for a full and unconditional 30-day silence remains on the table. The answer to it must come from Moscow, he wrote on X. Zelensky said Ukraine would be ready to extend a truce beyond 20th of April, seemingly referring to an earlier proposal from the US for a 30-day ceasefire which Ukraine had already agreed to. It seems now both Moscow and Kiev want to show Washington they are serious about peace. The question of whether the Kremlin accepts Zelensky's offer to turn this truce from a 30-hour one to a 30-day one is central to any potential path to peace. Few Ukrainians think that is remotely possible. Putin announced the temporary truce at a meeting with his chief of general staff, Valery Gerasimov. Based on humanitarian considerations, the Russian side announces an Easter truce. I order a stop to all military activities for this period, Putin told Gerasimov. We assume that Ukraine will follow our example. At the same time, our troops should be prepared to repel possible violations of the truce and provocations by the enemy, any aggressive actions. The Russian Defense Ministry said its troops would adhere to the ceasefire provided it was mutually respected by Ukraine. Reacting to Putin's truce announcement, a Foreign Office spokesman in the UK said, "Now is the moment for Putin to truly show he is serious about peace by ending his horrible invasion and committing to a full ceasefire, as the Ukrainian government has called for, not just a one-day pause for Easter." Like and subscribe for more.